Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with the story of a brand new cashier thrown straight into the chaos of retail, where a discount-demanding customer refused to take "you need a rewards card" for an answer. What happens when her tantrum over brownies and cheese escalates into a manager showdown? But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. I want my brownies and cheese. Amazing start to my shift. I get to my register, open it up, and the first customer comes rolling in. I notice this customer had 5 boxes of Betty Crocker favorites and a lot of cheese. I go on autopilot and begin scanning when she clears her throat. Customer, those brownie mixes are supposed to be 50 cents each. Your register's saying it's $2.49. Where's the discount you displayed on your door? Me. I'm sorry? Completely brand new on the register and had no frickin' clue what she was talking about. Customer. Did you not see your own sign? Me. 1 second, ma'am. I began looking around frantically for someone to help me. I had no idea what was going on, what discount she was talking about, or what to do in this situation. When the bagger clocked in and saw my frantic look, he rushed over. Bagger, something wrong? Me. Apparently there's a discount on the Betty Crocker mixes. The register isn't showing that discount. Bagger turns to face the customer, who's looking like it's the end of the world. Do you have a rewards card? Customer, no, and I don't want one. I just want my discount. You have it on a sign out front. Bagger, that might be bad printing on our part. If you look closer at the sign, it says only with reward card. My God, if this woman could have gotten any redder, she would have been classified as a tomato and joined the cheeses on her belt. Customer, that's unacceptable. You shouldn't print false advertisements. I again give a look that says, please help me, because I was drawing complete blanks on how to help this woman, and she was starting to scare me a bit. Me, do you want me to void the scans? Customer, no, I want my brownie mix at the price you advertised. Me, ma'am, as Bagger said, you will not receive the discount without a card. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Customer, you're not sorry. I want to speak to your manager. Had no clue how to page manager, and my name tag had a tag under it that said I was new, so Bagger went to get a manager. Me, I'll just set these aside and scan the rest of your items until he gets back. I grab a pack of cheese, scanned it. Customer, where's the discount for the cheese? Me, I can only assume it's tied with the card, ma'am. Just in frickin' time, Bagger and the manager come back just as she was about to say something. Manager, is there a problem? Customer, you're damn right there's a problem. Your cashier here is saying I can't get the 50-cent discount on my brownie mix and is now trying to cheat me out of the discount on my cheese. Manager, do you have a rewards card? The discount applies at the end of the transaction if you do. Customer, no, and I don't want one. Manager, but I'm sorry, ma'am, you will not get the discount without a card. It's completely free to sign up and can be used immediately. Enraged Aaron has a bunch of them here for any customer who wants a card. Customer, I don't want a card. Clean out your ears. My manager clearly did not like that. With a calm inhale, he signaled for me to step aside and canceled her entire transaction. Manager, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're holding up the line and starting to become a disturbance to the other customers. Customer, I'm not leaving. Manager, yes, you are. He went to grab the customer's arm to escort her out of the building and turned to look at me before walking away. Sorry about that, enraged Aaron. Please ring up the other customers while Bagger puts these items into a return buggy. While Bagger grabbed the items I'd sent to the far end, I looked at the customer that was behind the raging lady. There was that sympathetic grin you could almost tell was a grimace. Customer 2. Wow, you really got thrown to the wolves, didn't you? Me. Phew, tell me about it. Anyways, I'm so sorry for the delay. How's your day so far? The rest of my shift went without incident, but holy crap, I almost burst out laughing thinking about it when I got home. Just the ridiculousness of this middle-aged woman pitching a fit over cheese and brownies. Oh man, what an initiation into the retail jungle. OP, you handled this baptism by fire like a champ, especially for someone brand new to the register. The sheer absurdity of a grown woman throwing a tantrum over brownies and cheese discounts is pure comedy. If it weren't for the stress, of course. The real MVP here? The manager stepping in to shut down her tirade with a calm, no-nonsense approach. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but you're leaving," is the kind of boundary setting we love to see. And let's not forget the supportive second customer who helped lighten the mood afterward. Honestly, surviving this without bursting into laughter on the spot? Retail warrior level unlocked. And our second story. Ask my neighbor to have her kids stop spraying water guns over my fence. Me, 23-year-old female, and my boyfriend, 25-year-old male, moved into our new home last November. Our neighbors are a single mom, Sarah, 35-year-old female, and her two boys, 7-year-old male and 12-year-old male. And when we first moved in, Sarah was very sweet and welcoming. Her sons would say hi to us sometimes as well. As we're in England, you can probably guess where we don't get a great deal of sunny weather. Recently, though, it's gotten better and we've had a few hot days. A couple of weekends back, my boyfriend and I were enjoying a particularly sunny day sitting in our garden. We could hear Sarah's kids playing in their garden next door, but didn't mind until a jet of water came over the fence and hit me. It took me by surprise, and within a few seconds, 2 jets were being shot over the fence and spraying into our garden. I went upstairs to look at what the boys were doing. I saw they both had huge water guns and were still aiming them over the fence and shooting water all over our garden furniture and plants. I came downstairs to see my boyfriend calling over the fence, saying the boys' names and asking them to please stop spraying water. The boys went quiet and went away, but no more than 2 minutes later were doing it again. We were both frustrated, and I went next door and rang the bell. Sarah answered, and I told her what her kids had been doing and asked if she'd make them stop. I thought she'd be understanding, but she seemed really offended and told me I was overreacting to kids being kids. I tried to explain myself further, but she told me that while she'd tell them to stop, she wouldn't police her children playing and said it was only water and wouldn't do any damage. Honestly, I don't do well with confrontations, and her response was so different from what I'd expected, I kind of froze. I could see her kids over her shoulder watching from the hall, still holding their water guns. Sarah closed the door on me, and I just went home. Her boys kept playing outside, but they didn't spray water over the wall again. The next day, I saw Sarah and said hi, but she ignored me. I felt a bit awkward and let it be, until later she sent me a long text telling me she'd ignored me because she was upset by what I'd done the previous day. She said she felt I'd been a Karen by stopping her kids playing and making her out to be a bad mother. I was so confused by that because I'd never done those things. I just wanted them to stop spraying water in our garden. I don't care what they do in theirs, and honestly, being called a Karen was hurtful and makes me think she missed the point of why I even said anything and is being vindictive. I've spoken to other people about it, and some have actually sided with Sarah, saying the kids probably meant no harm, and I likely embarrassed Sarah. I was sure in my stance before, but now I'm beginning to doubt myself, and I'm wondering if I was in the wrong. OP, you were absolutely in the right to address this, and calling you a Karen for simply asking for basic respect is wildly unfair. This wasn't about stopping kids from playing. It was about setting boundaries for your property. Spraying water into someone else's garden, especially after being asked to stop, crosses the line from kids being kids to disrespectful behavior. Sarah's overreaction and the follow-up text show that she either missed the point or is deflecting to avoid taking responsibility. It's not about the water, it's about respect for shared space. You handled it calmly, and the fact that the kids stopped after your conversation proves they understood better than their mother did. Stay firm, you're not the bad guy here. Let's move on to the next story. No, I won't let you steal our yard. When my husband and I bought our home, we fell in love with the idea of finally having our own space. What we didn't anticipate was having to fight for that very space with our next-door neighbor, Mike. It all started innocently enough. About 6 months after we moved in, Mike decided to build a fence between our properties. No big deal, right? That was until we noticed something odd about the way the fence was going up. The line of posts didn't seem to align with the property boundary we had on the survey we received when we purchased the house. At first, I thought it might be an illusion. Surely Mike wouldn't build his fence on our property, right? When the fence was completed, it became glaringly obvious Mike's new fence encroached at least 6.5 feet onto our property. That might not sound like much, but when you consider the fact that our yard isn't huge to begin with, losing that much space is significant. One weekend, I decided to address it. My husband and I walked over to Mike's place and knocked on his door. When he answered, I tried to approach the matter politely. "Hey, Mike, I couldn't help but notice that the fence seems to be over the property line. I have the survey that shows where the boundary is." Mike's face shifted almost immediately from a neighborly smile to an annoyed frown. No, I've lived here for 15 years. I know where the property line is," he said dismissively. "That's exactly where it's supposed to be." "Actually, I had the surveyor mark it out before we moved in," I explained, pulling out a copy of the survey. "It's clear that the boundary is further back." Mike barely glanced at the document before scoffing. "Surveyors make mistakes all the time. Besides, it's just a couple of feet. What's the big deal?" I felt my jaw tighten. "The big deal, Mike, is that it's our property and you're building on it." "Well," Mike said with a shrug, "it's already built. What are you going to do about it?" Mike's dismissive attitude was infuriating. But I wasn't about to let it slide. My husband and I decided to get a professional surveyor to come out again and mark the property line. Sure enough, it confirmed what we already knew. The fence was definitely on our land. So we sent Mike a formal letter demanding that he remove the fence and restore our property to its original condition. His response? He ripped the letter in half right in front of us and said, "See you in court." So we took him up on his challenge. Filing the lawsuit wasn't cheap, as was the survey, but it felt necessary. The whole neighborhood started buzzing about the drama, with some siding with us and others grumbling about how we were ruining the harmony. But what else were we supposed to do? Mike had blatantly stolen part of our yard. During the court proceedings, Mike tried every excuse in the book. He claimed the old property markers were wrong, then argued that he'd been using the land so long it was practically his. Neither argument held up, especially once we presented the clear, indisputable survey documents. The court ruled in our favor, ordering Mike to remove the fence and pay damages for the encroachment. This should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. Mike didn't want to pay to remove the fence, so he just didn't. Weeks turned into months, and every time I looked out my window, there was that damn fence mocking me. Finally, the court issued a deadline. When Mike still didn't comply, we got the green light to hire a contractor to remove the fence ourselves at his expense. Watching that fence come down was one of the most satisfying moments of my life. To add insult to injury, Mike was hit with additional fines for contempt of court. Not long after the fence debacle, Mike put his house up for sale. I guess losing the case, coupled with the awkward tension every time we saw each other, was too much for him. But here's the kicker. Because of the legal case and the fact that his property now had a reputation for boundary disputes, he had to sell the house for way less than its market value. "No, I won't let you steal our yard." Oh wow, what a wild experience that was. Mike's blatant disregard for boundaries, both literal and figurative, make this a case of karma served with a side of legal justice. OP and her husband showed incredible patience, staying polite and following the law despite Mike's dismissive and infuriating attitude. The court ruling was satisfying enough, but the best part is watching that fence come down while Mike was forced to foot the bill. And the fact that he had to sell his house at a loss because of the dispute? It's a reminder that being stubbornly wrong can cost you more than just your pride. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.